my name is Kris Cahya Utami. I would like to storytelling about the bitter tongu and the four eyes. Once upon a time, somewhere around South Sumatra, in a place called Banding Agung, there lived two mighty warriors. They were quite famous and well respected by the people around Banding Agung, including their contenders. They were notably called as the bitter tongu and the four eyes. One day, the bitter tongu came to meet the four eyes. He declared with all his might, "Oh, the four A's! I have heard the heard say about what a great warrior you are, but I believe that you are still out of my league," said the bitter tongu confidently. Being disgraced by the bitter tongu arrogant declaration, the four A's reacted no less arrogant. "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Who do you think you are? Do you think that you're the greatest of all? Then you don't know me, my friends. What about a duel? To prove which one is the greatest one for all," triggered the four eyes. Feeling his pride a little shattered, the bitter tongue said, "Alright, I will accept the challenge. You and I must lie down under the clump of palm tree. Then it will be tried. The one who can do the clump is the winner," he replied. Upon hearing his challenge answered by the bitter tongue, they decided an appropriate time and place for this duel. Day after day, night after night, the time of duel had finally arrived. It was the four A's who took the first step. He was not called as the four A's for nothing. It was aimed a very amicable alias for him as he does have four A's in his head, two A's on his face and two more at the back of his head. The bitter tongue climbed the palm tree skillfully and succeeded in timing the palm cigar. Meanwhile, the four A's faced down below the clump of the palm tree. By the help of his eye at the back of his head, he succeeded in dodging the palm cigar which had been cut by the bitter tongue beforehand. He was safe and sound alive. Then here comes the time for the four A's to climb up the palm tree. He did it with great agility, not less skillful than the bitter tongue. Meanwhile, it was the time for the bitter tongue to lie down under the palm tree, just like what the four A's had done before. Upon reaching the top of the palm tree, the four A's climbed down the palm cigar and it fell right away. The bitter tongue did not know that the palm cigar had been cut by his contender. Keep on facing down under the palm tree. Therefore, his body was tragically hit by the palm cigar. He died instantly. Seeing his contender lie down on the ground, the four A's measured with great satisfaction radiant throughout his face. The bitter tongue was indeed just like what he had been expected before. That man was not as great as the rumor said he would be. He was more certain that he himself was the greatest warrior of all. No matter how strong his contenders could be, they will still be out of his league. He sighed, "You think you were that great, huh? You were nothing but a hearsay." In spite of the fact they won the challenge, the four Eyes still wondering about what was behind the bitter tongue alias. The four Eyes frowned, but why he called us the bitter tongue? Was it because he really had a bitter tongue, or what? Out of curiosity, the four Eyes appreciated his contender's dead body. After that, he opened the bitter tongue's mouth. As the four Eyes looked over his mouth closely, he was surprised. There was nothing special with his mouth. It was different than what he had imagined before. He thought that there would be something different with how it looked like, but it was as ordinary as any man would have. Wait a second. What is really bitter? The four Eyes wondered and ended up touching the bitter tongue with his index finger. He liked the finger which has touched the tongue firstly, without any suspicion whatsoever. It was indeed terribly bitter, he whispered to himself. Unfortunately, he never knew that this particular liquid become a disaster for his own life. The bitter taste coming out of the tongue was in fact a very deadly poison contained inside the bitter tongue saliva. It was extremely bitter and deadly, that it killed the four A's not long after his story. The four A's fell down to the ground not too far from the bitter tongue's dead body. Considering the fact that two of the most powerful warriors ever known in Banding Agung were both dead, There were no other great warriors ever again in the region, at least not as great as the forest and the bitter tongue. In spite of that fact that they both had amazing skill and power, be called as the greatest warriors, they did due to one very particular mistake. A mistake which all consider petty by most people, their own vanity. The bitter Tongu, who felt like he was the greatest warrior of all and no one could ever surpass his greatness as a warrior, and the 4H for understanding his contenders even though his contenders was already there. Dear Buddy, we are buried near the edge of Danau Ranau, in which it was known as one of the most popular tourist destinations in Indonesia with its breathtaking view and the richness of its culture, including the legend about the bitter tongu and the 4X. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.